fishing.
All right.
Hey, friend, there's already one down here.
Come on, Brad. Should we try to catch a fish?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what's down this way.
Hi, I'm Bob Jensen. This is Fishing the Midwest. Thanks for stopping by. Some of the best largemouth bass fishing in the world takes place right here in the Midwest. Today we're going to be on the Mississippi River between Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin and Lansing, Iowa. We'll be with Terry Fitzpatrick and Doug Veldhuisen. They're Cabela's guys. They know how to catch fish. We'll be chasing largemouth bass. Later on, we'll be fishing perch through the ice in the Walker, Grand Rapids area of Minnesota. First though, largemouth bass in the Mississippi River. Here we go. The Mississippi River, from the Twin Cities down to about Dubuque, Iowa, is one of the most diverse fisheries in the Midwest. And the stretch from Lansing, Iowa, down to Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin, is one of the best stretches. It offers a wide variety of fish in a wide variety of locations. Today, Terry Fitzpatrick from Cabela's in Prairie du Chien is going to take Doug Veldhuisen and me out in search of bass. Terry is one of the best bass anglers around. Doug is a Cabela's guy from Sidney, Nebraska. He's an expert angler too. He's fished all over and really knows his way around a fishing pool. We pulled up on Terry's first spot and got bit almost right away. You get way out there, didn't you, Terry?
Yeah, he was way out on the grass.
Over there, ooh, that's a decent one, isn't it?
Yeah. Nice fish on
Yeah.
the swim jig.
How are you working the swim jig?
Just reeling it slow, trying to take the grass.
Yep. Then Terry got bit again on, I think, his next cast.
Another one.
Another one, look at there.
I just missed one he boiled on.
Did you really?
Good one, Bob. Nice
Is it
one,
really?
Bob.
Is that the way it is when you get on them this time of year? You really get on them?
Usually they get kind of stacked up. A little better fish.
Is it? Little or a lot?
Yeah.
Terry mentioned that he's throwing a swimming jig. That's what Doug's throwing too. We're throwing our baits to grass in 3 to 5 feet of water just off the river channel. The grass with deep water nearby is best. Here's how Terry and Doug are rigging the swimming jig. A jungle jig is an outstanding swimming jig. In this depth, the 3/8 ounce size is about right. We're tipping them with a 4-inch power bait split belly, and we're rigging the split belly upside down for a different action. Baits with some white in them seem to be better. We're making long casts and just swimming the baits back to the boat slowly just above the grass. Next it was Doug's turn.
Got it.
I'm Doug.
Right where they should be.
Right
Where
on
they
the end
should
of that
be.
little.
Yeah.
And why should they be there,
Boss.
Terry?
See how that currentent's hitting that point? They're just
Oh,
sitting
look
there
at that.
waiting for food.
Swing it in, Doug. Or whatever you want to do. I don't care.
Got him.
Doug, how do you work that swim jig?
Well, this is pretty basic in operation, really. I mean, you're throwing it out, casting it, reeling it in, slow, steady retrieve. So it's not something that's, super finesse or super powerful. Pretty basic. You know, Bob, when you think about it, it's throwing out and reeling in. You can maybe hop it a little bit or jerk it a little bit, but most cases, just reeling it in.
The bass are biting. When we come back, we'll catch some more. Stay tuned. These folks make the products that will help you catch more fish. Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. Gulp Alive, looks, feels, tastes alive. Northland Fishing Tackle, the fisherman's favorite. Welcome back to Fishing the Midwest. For diversity, you can't beat the Mississippi River. Today we're fishing largemouth bass. Let's get back out there. Got him, Doug? Oh, there he is right there.
Yep, right there. In the grass.
He's in the grass. That's where they are though, isn't it?
Yep, little guy. I don't think he'll keep, but.
How much bigger is he than the swim bait? Yeah, no, how much?
Not a lot, but he's hungry.
That's the good kind.
He is hungry.
One of the rod and reel combos I'm using today is a Fenwick Elite Tech smallmouth rod. It has a Pfluger Tri-On reel on it and 14-pound test Trilene XT line. If you do a lot of bass fishing, there is an Elite Tech rod just perfect for your needs. Doug and Terry are both using the new Abu Garcia Veritas rods. These rods have become really popular in a short period of time. Something in the 6-foot, 9-inch, or 7-foot medium heavy length will be about right. Teamed with an Abu Garcia Revo reel, this is a tough combo to beat. Ooh, look at him up on top there.
Didn't really feel the bite, just got real heavy.
This time of the year, they're schooling up pretty heavily.
Yeah, they're starting to school up. The shad are starting to school up on these points, and then the bass just follow them. He ate that swim jig. Tell he wanted it, it's gone. That one I'll release and he. We've got a little pull to him, Bob.
What?
We've got a little pull to him.
Oh yeah.
Ooh,
A little better fish.
Good job, Terry.
so you get a lot of them that size here.
Yeah, that's kind of the average size here on the river.
Is it really? Terry, there are so many bassy looking areas. You know, there's all these backwaters and channels and sloughs and all these side cuts and all that stuff. It can be kind of intimidating. How do you determine what do you look for when you're looking for bass in the Mississippi River in the fall?
Yeah, in the fall, Bob, I kind of look for points that are real close to deeper water with some current. Rock points, clay points, or eelgrass points like we're fishing now are the most productive. Ooh, good one, real good one, Bob.
Is it really?
Yeah. Hopefully we can land this one.
What do you mean, see if we can?
Yeah.
Ooh, that is a nice one. Well, there was another one just boiled right there, Doug. Doug, right out there. See that one just boiled?
Another pretty good one. You're hitting that swim jig good.
Like I said earlier, Terry and Doug are throwing swim jigs, and they're catching the bass really good. I'm throwing a spinnerbait. Here's why I'm throwing a spinnerbait, and also why Terry likes swim jigs. I saw him boil back there.
Yeah.
I really, truly did. I saw him boil, and I threw right on top of him, and he whacked it.
Spinnerbait.
Yeah, he's okay. You know, I'm throwing a spinnerbait behind you guys, just because, you know, those fish see those swim jigs go by, and you guys both know how to do it. So I want to throw them something a little bit different, you know, just give them a little bit different look. But why is it that you're throwing swim jigs as much as you do, Terry?
Yeah, Bob, the last couple years I've really got to liking the swim jig because I was a diehard spinnerbait guy, but a lot of tournaments in previous years, the swim jig guys really put it to me.
And why do you think that is?
The river here gets fished hard, spinnerbaits, everybody's throwing them, and our water clarity's getting a lot cleaner. Therefore, the swim jig seems more subtle and it'll outfish the spinnerbait.
Boy, Terry and Doug know how to catch these bass. When we come back, we'll catch some more. Stay tuned. The Fishing the Midwest fishing team uses and appreciates the efforts of these people. Abu Garcia for life. Cabela's, the world's foremost outfitter of hunting, fishing, and outdoor gear. Freybill, trusted gear since 1938. Welcome back to Fishing the Midwest. For largemouth bass in the Mississippi River, swim jigs and spinnerbaits are tough to beat. Here's some more swim jig and spinnerbait bass. As we were heading in, we went past a spot that Terry said looked like a smallmouth spot. He was right.
Good smallmouth.
Look at that guy. Look at him jump out there. Boy, when you pull onto these spots, they bite right away, don't they?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that guy.
Get him over here.
I'll get under you.
Yeah, they're right on
Look at
that
that
grass again.
Now, Terry, before we even started fishing, you said this is a smallmouth spot. How did you know that? What makes this a smallmouth spot?
The main reason, Bob, is if you're looking at the current, it's a lot stronger than anything we've been fishing.
Yep.
The smallies want stronger current if you can find it.
I'm still throwing that spinner bait. It's a 1/2 ounce Pro Model Reed Runner, and I'm adding the split belly power bait to the spinner bait also. There's some largemouths on this smallmouth spot too.
Good job, Bob.
He was right on that weed line. I mean, right on it. Nice fish too. Look at that guy.
Good one.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at that. Go.
Look at that guy. He was right on the edge of that weed line. You know, I just paralleled it with that spinner bait, and I expected to get bit, and I did. Huh. Look at that. That's a nice one. Smallmouths like the spinner bait too. There's one right there. Followed it all the way out.
There you go.
Nice
Nice
fish.
smallmouth,
Yeah,
Bob.
that's a largemouth, isn't it?
Smallmouth.
Smallmouth.
Oh, it's
No,
small.
it-
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, nice
Wow.
smallmouth.
Boy, oh boy. Right there at that current, that's where they are. Huh.
Beautiful.
He came right here and hit it. Look at that. Jeepers. Huh. Isn't that fun? These bigger fish seem like a spinnerbait though. You
Yeah,
know?
with the cloud cover, I think the spinnerbait could maybe be the ticket.
Then it was time to call it a day. We headed back to Lansing. Our headquarters for this trip was McGarrity's Inn. Boy, really nice rooms here. Great place to spend a weekend fishing and checking out the countryside around Lansing. When it comes time to eat, you can't beat TJ Hunter's just down the street. TJ Hunter's has outstanding food, and the dining room has an atmosphere any outdoors person would enjoy. And that stretch of Mississippi between Lansing and Prairie du Chien is water that any angler would enjoy. Stop by Cabela's in Prairie du Chien and look up Terry Fitzpatrick for the best information on catching bass in that stretch of river. Oh, that bass bite on the Mississippi River can be so much fun. Remember what we talked about, swim jigs and spinnerbaits? If you'll use them the way we talked, you'll catch more fish. Now let's get on the ice and see if we can catch some perch. If you want to get in some of the hottest ice fishing action of the year, you need to start planning right now. Late ice can provide outstanding perch action across the Midwest. Today I'm in the Walker, Grand Rapids area of Minnesota, and on the ice with Rob Hamling, Jeff Sundin, and Tom Newstrom. These guys know how to catch perch through late ice. Rob Hamling has these thoughts about perch that have seen a lot of baits. Rob, I noticed you were catching them pretty good over here, and then you quit catching them pretty good. They slowed down, and you changed baits and started catching them right away again, didn't you?
You know, the fish would come up and look at the bait, and they wouldn't bite. So I switched to a Berkeley Gulp Alive waxy, just maybe a different scent, a little different profile in the water. I thought maybe the fish would turn on, and I did catch a couple small ones and then that nice one on that. So,
do you think those perch become conditioned to baits, colors, sizes, styles, that sort of thing?
I think somewhat they could. You know, when they're going down and the same thing's coming down all the time and they bite it, and maybe a couple of them get a taste of the hook and they spit it out, or they see their buddies getting yanked up. I think they do kind of get conditioned and a little different profile even.
If you're catching fish and they quit, it's a good idea to change baits.
Yeah.
Do something different.
Yep. Colors, you know, even the same type of bait, just a different color.
Yep. Tom Newstrom said this about lure selection.
Ooh, here's a good one, Bob. Ooh.
Is it?
Yeah, this one ain't even a hoister. This is a lifter.
Ooh, that is a big. What'd you catch him on?
Out of forged minnow spoon, and you know, a
Forage
couple
minnow.
waxes. Yeah.
Now, there's the forage minnow and there's the buckshot rattle spoon. One rattles, one doesn't.
Right.
When do you use one or the other?
You know, it's kind of a horse apiece. I don't think there's any real, dominant time when I use one or the other. I think I switch them up. You know, sometimes if you're not getting bit on one, you go to the other and see which is the best.
There are times one will produce and the other won't.
Well, there is, you know, and then sometimes I'll put 2 waxies on one and just one sometimes, and like I say, just switching them up makes a big difference, and that's what we try to do.
Perch that size are fun, aren't they?
Oh yeah, and I mean that's a pretty fish, you know.
Look at that.
You don't catch them like that every day.
You certainly don't. No.
No, nice stuff.
The perch are biting. When we come back, we'll catch some more. Stay tuned. For more fishing success, check out these outstanding products. WalleyeCentral.com. More walleye information than you can handle. Growth Energy, America's ethanol supporters. Nanofill, the next generation in fishing line. Welcome back to Fishing the Midwest. You know, that late season perch bite can be so good for numbers of perch and big ones. Let's get back out and catch some more.
There's a beauty right there. Yep, that's back up into that 11-inch neighborhood. Something like that. I put a fresh grub on there as soon as my grub was getting
Nice color, you know, nice color too. Look at the color in it, huh?
Yep.
Fish for perch with about 4-pound test trilene cold weather line. That's about as good as it gets for perch in water less than 15 feet deep. If they're deeper, 6.2 fire line would be a good choice. It doesn't stretch.
Oh, look at that. Bluegill.
Ooh, there's a dandy.
Yeah, something a little different. Those perch, I sort of wondered this earlier. We were talking about whether or not some of those fish that we were looking at that didn't bite were maybe bluegills instead of perch, and here's one right here.
And just like with almost all of ice fishing, it's a good idea to keep moving. Keep moving around until you find some fish willing to bite, and those Fraybill shelters make it so easy to move around. Fraybill has a new series of shelters this year. Let's have Clay Peterson from Cabela's tell us about these new shelters. Clay, I've been hearing a lot about this new Trekker Max from Fraybill. What can you tell me about it?
Well, the Trekker Max is really a unique fish house. There's been a lot of different companies doing a lot of different things, but I think Fraybill has really hit something really unique here.
It's a portable unit.
It's a portable unit, and traditionally these houses have been open. I mean, just like our boats have been open, you'd start getting gear pounded around.
Yeah.
What they've done here at Fraybill is they created the Fraybill Max, and we've got all the storage in here to create all these storage spaces for your gear, which is going to make it a lot more easy on your gear. It's got less hardness here. We got a couple different storage compartments here. That we've got first a lockable one for all your smaller ones here in the middle. You get all of your smaller gear that you need to get to, your baits, your jigs. We've got under seat storage, which is really nice for some of your bigger items. It's also got a brace in here, so you can get a pretty good sized guy on this. You can get your tip ups inside the fish house. You can put in your flasher, any of that bigger bulky stuff, extra boots, extra jackets, whatever else you need.
Over here we've got a minnow bucket.
Minnow bucket, you could probably put a smaller size heater in there. Lots of storage space there. And really one of the nicer compartments in there, I think, is the rod locker on the backside. You lift that up and you've got storage for 10 rods. So instead of those rods getting banged around in your sled when you got it behind your ATV or snowmobile, you're going to get some pretty good protection for those rods. They're not banging around the bottom of the sled. They're not getting tangled up inside your rod bag.
And like
really nice feature.
Like other portable units, you can flip it up.
Yep, this one does flip up. It's pretty similar to a lot of the flip-up style houses that are out on the market right now. Easy setup. All these poles then along the frame are going to collapse up, and it's going to all fold down within the confines of that sled. And you can set it up from there as you want. You get lights for them, covers. There's a lot of different other things you can add to these houses to make it your own, to make it unique. Fraybill Trekker Max, this is like a bass boat on ice. Come over to Cabela's and check it out.
Thanks, Clay. Those Cabela's guys have the skinny on all the new stuff. And these guys I'm fishing with today are really up on the perch fishing. Now, when the fish get finicky and you're having a hard time detecting a bite, that's when spring bobbers enter the picture. Tom and Rob have these ideas about spring bobbers whenever perch or bluegills or crappies or whatever are biting softly.
Well, I think it's real important, Bob, because a lot of times, you know, if you're using a regular float bobber, these bluegills will take that bait in and they'll spit it out so fast that you never see the bite. But with that spring bobber, it's so, you know, kind of intricate and sensitive that all of a sudden when you see that bite, you know exactly right away, and you get a lot more fish with a spring bobber.
A lot of times guys will use a reel, they'll use a reel limber rod, like a noodle rod, and it just, when they set the hook, they don't have enough backbone to set the hook into the fish. So it's kind of important to
be able to have you can get the best of both worlds with a spring bobber. You can use a nice stiff rod, but then have a very limber end to tell even the smallest bite.
That late February and early March bite, or as long as the ice is safe, can provide some of the best ice fishing of the year. The weather is generally warmer, the days are longer, and the fish like to get caught. There's still time for you to get in on this action. If that sounds like a good idea to you, give Tom or Rob or Jeff a call and set up a day on the ice. The Chase on the lake in Walker, Minnesota would be a great place to headquarter out of. The Chase has clean, spacious rooms, good food. They even have a bowling alley downstairs. Wherever you decide to go ice fishing this time of year, make sure the ice is safe, then get out there. You'll be glad you did. Late season ice fishing can be so good. If you get the chance, take advantage of it. And if you get the chance, get on the Mississippi River between Lansing and Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin, and get in on those bass. You'll be glad you did. Hey, for all of us at Fishing the Midwest, thanks for stopping by. Be nice to one another. We'll see you again next time.
All right, guys.